You swore the last one was different. Different name, different face, maybe even a different city. But somewhere around month 3 or month 6 or 2 years in, something familiar started happening. The same arguments, the same silences, the same feeling of being just slightly unseen. And you're sitting there thinking, how did I end up here again? If that question sounds familiar, I want you to stay with me today. Because the answer isn't what most people think it is. It's not bad luck. It's not that all the good ones are taken. And it's definitely not that you're broken. It's something much more specific. And once you see it, you actually can't unsee it. Welcome to Connect. Reflect. Repeat. Where we take the deepest questions in modern relationships and bring in philosophy, psychology, and real life to find answers that actually hold up. I'm glad you're here. Let's get into it. Here's the first thing to understand. Repeating relationship patterns are not a coincidence. Psychologists call it repetition compulsion, a concept Freud identified over a century ago, and one that modern attachment research has continued to confirm. The basic idea is this: we don't just randomly fall for people. We are unconsciously drawn toward emotional experiences that feel familiar, even when those familiar experiences are painful. Think about that for a moment. Familiar doesn't mean good. Familiar means known. And the nervous system, in its deep animal wisdom, prefers the known over the unknown, even when the known hurts. So when you feel that electric pull towards someone, that sense of, I don't know why, but I feel so drawn to this person, part of what you're feeling is recognition, not of them as a person, but of a feeling they produce in you, a dynamic, a shape of relating that your body already knows. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. That shape was usually formed long before any romantic relationship. It was formed in your first relationships, the ones you had no choice in. Now I want to bring in Epictetus here, because his thinking is remarkably useful for this conversation. Epictetus was a Stoic philosopher who was born into slavery. He had no control over who owned him, where he lived, or what was done to his body. And yet, he became one of the most influential thinkers on human freedom in history. Because he understood something most of us spend our whole lives avoiding. The only thing truly in our power is how we respond to what happens to us. He writes in the Enchiridion, his handbook on living, that we suffer not from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. And relationships, I'd argue, are where we store our oldest, most unexamined judgments. Judgments like, love means someone keeping you at arm's length. Or, if a person is too available, they must not be worth wanting. Or, closeness always leads to being hurt. These aren't conscious beliefs. You didn't sit down one day and decide to believe them. They were conclusions you drew, as a child, as a teenager, as someone who got hurt and needed to make sense of it. And then they went underground. But they didn't disappear. They became the filter through which you experience every new person who walks into your life. So the Stoic question isn't, why do I keep meeting the wrong people? The Stoic question is, what judgment am I carrying that keeps recognizing the wrong people as right? That's the shift. From external blame to internal clarity. And it's not comfortable. But it is where the power actually lives. Let me walk you through the 3 patterns I see show up most often, and what each one is actually protecting underneath. Pattern 1. You attract emotionally unavailable people. This is the most common one. You keep ending up with people who are inconsistent, hot and cold, here and then distant. And here's what's usually underneath it. Somewhere early on, love and uncertainty got linked together. Maybe a parent who was loving but unpredictable. Maybe affection that had to be earned. The pattern isn't that you love unavailable people. It's that availability doesn't feel like love yet. It feels too calm, too easy. and easy got coded as unexciting or even unreal. Pattern 2. You attract people you need to fix or save. You're drawn to people with potential, people who need you, who would be lost without you. And there's real love in that impulse. Don't misread it. But underneath it is often this: if I am needed, I cannot be left. Or, my value in a relationship is what I give, not who I am. The pattern protects against the fear that just being yourself, without the caretaking, without the rescuing, might not be enough. Pattern 3. You attract people who gradually make you feel small. It rarely starts that way. It starts with intensity, with feeling deeply seen, but slowly, subtly, you find yourself apologizing more, shrinking your opinions, wondering if you're too much or not enough. What's underneath this one is often an early experience where love came with conditions, where being fully yourself felt risky. So you learned to manage yourself, to stay safe by staying small. And you unconsciously seek out dynamics that confirm that old map. None of these patterns make you weak. Every single one of them was once a smart adaptation. The question Epictetus would ask is, now that you can see it, what will you do with that knowledge? So how do you actually break the pattern? Not just understand it intellectually, but live differently? 3 things. Concrete, doable. First, slow down the early attraction. The pull you feel in the first weeks of a connection carries information, but it isn't reliable yet. Strong early chemistry is often familiarity in disguise. This doesn't mean distrust every feeling. It means get curious about the feeling. Ask, what does this person remind me of? What dynamic are we already in? Awareness creates a pause, and the pause is where you have a choice. Second, notice how you feel in their presence, not just how you feel about them. We spend a lot of time thinking about the person, analyzing them, wondering what they think of us. Shift the question inward. Do you feel more yourself around them or less? Do you feel at ease or like you're quietly managing something? Your body knows the answer before your mind does. Trust it. Third, practice Epictetus's discipline of desire. He teaches that we should only desire what is within our control. You cannot control whether someone is emotionally available. You cannot control whether they choose you. What you can control is the standard you hold for how you're treated, and whether you enforce it. That's not cold. That's self-respect in action. So to bring this back together, the reason you keep attracting the same type of person is not that you have bad taste, and it's not bad luck. It's that you're being guided, mostly unconsciously, by a set of emotional templates that were built a long time ago. Those templates make certain kinds of people feel familiar, and familiarity gets mistaken for rightness. The pattern persists because it's doing a job. It's keeping you at a safe distance from the thing you most fear, which is usually genuine closeness and the vulnerability that comes with it. The way out isn't to try harder to choose differently. It's to do 3 things. Learn to distinguish the feeling of familiarity from actual chemistry, get honest about what the pattern is protecting you from, and practice tolerating the discomfort of people who don't trigger the old pull, long enough to find out if something real might be there. Epictetus would say that desire, left unexamined, will always lead you back to the same place. But desire that's been looked at honestly, questioned, and gradually reoriented, that can take you somewhere new. Here's what I want to leave you with today. The fact that you keep meeting the same person isn't evidence that you're cursed or unlucky, or that love isn't meant for you. It's evidence that there's a pattern. And patterns, unlike luck, can be understood. And what can be understood can be changed. Epictetus spent his life proving that the most constrained circumstances cannot touch the part of you that chooses how to see clearly. You have that same capacity. The relationship pattern ends the moment you decide that self-knowledge matters more than the comfort of the familiar. That's the work. It's not easy, but it's yours to do. If this landed for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper on any of this, I'll see you in the next one. Connect, reflect, repeat.